Hi, my name is Bridget Norton, and Missy asked me to come talk to you for a few minutes and about doing short-term missions or about going to Cucuta, Colombia, which is where our church is supporting a mission focus. She asked me 4 questions, and so I thought I would just go through those with you. The first one was to tell others what kind of work we do in Cucuta. Well, Cucuta is on the Venezuelan border, and First Colony actually has a partnership with the Church of Christ there in Cucuta, and we actually support several missionaries there, a man and his wife, and it is our hope that we get to go there each year and do several things. One of the things we like to do is build up those missionaries there and the church and encourage them as a whole. And then we partner with them in doing some humanitarian work, providing food, beans, and grain to those that are coming from Venezuela, because there's a huge problem right now in Venezuela, as most of you probably know some of that, and people are hungry. And so we provide bushels of food for the Venezuelans, and they bring it back to the churches in Venezuela. So that's one of the humanitarian things we do there. But another thing that we do is we go there to tell people about what it means to have a personal relationship with Jesus. Most of Colombia knows about Jesus and knows about religion and rules, but they don't have a personal relationship, and so they are not transformed by that. And we go there and we go around and pray with people for their needs, and we tell them about Jesus. And then lastly, that we have not done this yet, but we are hoping to. We were supposed to in 2020, but things got a little crazy this year, is to set up a medical portion of a short-term mission as well. And we will provide basic medical for both the Colombians and the Venezuelans. And I keep saying Venezuelans because right now, even when we go there, we see more Venezuelans oftentimes than we do Colombians. There's such an influx of need from these people. And I will also say it's a beautiful thing to see the way the Colombians have extended a hand of friendship and help to these people that are in great need as well. So that is predominantly what we do there, and there is a great window of opportunity. People are hungry to have personal relationships with Jesus, and they're hungry to know God right now. And so we are excited because every time we go there, we are received with open arms. But the second question she wanted me to answer was, what fears do you have when you go on a mission trip? And I will not lie to you. Every person, no matter how many mission trips they've been on, have fears. It is natural. And I will be open with you what some of mine are. The number one fear when you start is the basic your human needs being met. Will there be food there you can eat? Will there be food that will make you sick when you go there? What type of lodging? Are you going to be comfortable? Are you going to be put into situations that you are uncomfortable with? That physically, that is a fear. A second fear oftentimes, especially if you sign up for a mission trip on faith, is, will I raise the money I need to raise in order to pay for this? That is a real fear as well. And then the greatest fear, and that is true of I have it, I don't care how many mission trips I've been on, it is still a fear. When you get out there and you get ready to meet strangers and talk to them about Jesus, you're afraid of your reception. You're afraid of who is going to receive me. Am I going to be received? And then am I going to have the words to the correct words, and will I make a difference, and will I say what I mean to say, and will they hear what the message of Jesus? And but the exciting thing about all of that is that when you trust in Him and you see Him show up, and those fears are taken care of by God, it is miraculous. You come back with a glow about yourself because you've trusted in Him in a way you never have before. And that brings me to the third question, is what benefit is there to sending people rather than sending money? And there's two sides to that, and I want to talk on both sides. So the receiving side and then the giving side. On the giving, let me start on the receiving side. I asked my Colombian French speak young man, I asked him the question, what is the difference between us coming there personally versus sending money for your basic human needs, your physical needs? And he said, well, it's nice, and physically people will come to the church and get food, and of course we need food, and we need our basic needs met. But then oftentimes you might just be going for the food, and you don't really equate it with a relationship with God or growing in your faith. He said, but when people take the time and come to our country and show that they care about us, the fact that they care enough to come that far, it makes a difference, and it makes us want to hear what they have to say, and it puts some support behind what they have to say, because they obviously cared enough to come. So that was on their side. Now on my side, or our side, the difference between being able to give money, which is always a blessing, I gave some thought to this, and I thought about true confessions. I thought about the 4 pairs of shoes I have, or the 4 jackets, or the 4 pants, or the 4 shirts, and in truth, I probably have more, but I'll just say 4. And how many choices I have to make. I am blessed. We are richly blessed in this country. The fact that we have so many choices, we don't even realize how blessed we are. And so naturally, when you can give of that and give monetarily, there's always a blessing in good stewardship. But in going yourself and taking the time, giving up our time, which is sometimes more challenging for us, and then dedicating an entire week where pretty much you trust in Him about everything because you are fearful and you cannot do it on your own. You pray morning, noon, and night. You partner with people that are there doing the same thing with you. And then most of all, just imagine if you spend all day telling people what Jesus has done for you and how He has changed your life. Just repeating that repeatedly reaffirms it in yourself, and it gives you confidence, and it builds you up, and it makes you remember how blessed and how loved you are by God. Oh, and I want to add one more. Typically, our translators are students that are in schools that are learning English. So they are excited to join us because they get to practice their English. And so all week long, they're telling people or translating to people your story of what God has done in your life. So over and over again, they're saying, this is what Jesus has done for this person. This is what Jesus has done for this person. And I will tell you that quite a few of them give their lives to Christ, and we have continued our studies with our translators in a Friends Speak program, which is a great way, which leads me into our 4th question. How would you encourage people who would like to be involved, but circumstances will not allow it for them right now? Well, the number one way is to commit to praying and to praying for the people when we go on these trips, to be committed to us in prayer and cover us in prayer as we go forth. But also to pray for the community in which we're going to. And when we go to these communities, there is a people praying over each of the neighborhoods that we are going to go into prior to going into that neighborhood. And so that prayer is always the best way to get involved. But a second way to do that is to be willing to, we build these amazing relationships with these young people and with others there. And if you're willing to take the stick of into the next stage and do Friends Speak Bible studies and meet with some of these young people. They just love to speak with people in America to improve their English and mostly their pronunciation and so forth, because they understand English in their mind. They can write it, they can read it, but they have a real difficult time in talking. And so, lastly, I would just like to say that, again, if you, how should I put this? I've never been on a trip that if I had waited till shortly before the trip, that I would have thought, oh, I'm ready and I can go on this and this is perfect. Most often, the way I've made a decision of what type of work I can do is by my calendar. I'll look at my calendar and, whether I go to India, Indiana, or Impact Church, I'll say, oh, the week that they're going to this place, at this point, am I free? And I've signed up 9-10 months ahead of time for a trip, not knowing what will happen, shortly before that trip. And every single time, if I would have waited to the last month, there's no way I would have agreed to go on those trips. One of my kids is going to have a baby 6 weeks after the trip, or there's, work gets busy, or there's always a reason. I mean, we have the enemy that does not want us to go out and tell people about Jesus, and he will do his best to try and get in the way. Well, I hope I have educated you and helped you better understand what going on a mission trip is like, especially in Cucuta, Colombia. And thank you for letting me talk to you.